How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be looking at Goosebumps number 4, Say Cheese and Die. This was written by R.L. Stine and originally came out in November 1992. It's a classic Goosebumps story that actually got 2 sequels, Say Cheese and Die Again in the original series, and then Say Cheese and Die Screaming later on in Goosebumps Horrorland. And I also really love this cover. The story I hear is that Tim Jacobus actually finished the cover before the book was done. The original Goosebumps were made really fast, and the skeleton dinner sequence wasn't actually in the book, and Scholastic made Stine add it in so he could only fit it in as a dream sequence, but still, really absolutely iconic. And overall, this is a really fun book. Some kids find a camera in a haunted house, and the camera starts taking photos of the future. A really good classic concept, and plus, the pictures are always depicting something bad. So it's this nice bit of tension, waiting for every single photo to come out. You're always just waiting for that camera to take another snap, and then plus, it's old school instant photography, so you're waiting there while the thing slowly fades in. And even then, it's just like a clue, you know? It's a future photo of whatever you took, so the location and the background and the expression might be different. You know, you'll get someone making a reaction, but you won't see what they're reacting to because you're getting a photo of them. And overall, a nice bit of tension each time, and you really are trying to figure out what these scenarios are going to be. It's a very Twilight Zone-y concept, and perhaps there is a reason for that. There was a very similar episode of The Twilight Zone called A Most Unusual Camera. If you're fans of this, you'll like that episode as well. However, the mythology and the way the plot goes about, it's unique in each one, so I'm not going to say too much the fact that there's a similar concept, but it is worth noting. Overall, this was one that I really found myself getting invested in and getting pulled in and just wanting to know what happens next and reading through it really fast. I can see why this became one of the classic Goosebumps titles, why this one would get the sequels and would get remembered. And yeah, I think early Goosebumps, I've been looking around at the first 10, there have been quite a few classic ones, and this is definitely one of them. Without further ado, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the plot. I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece on a few plot points and make sure you guys have a basic understanding as to what the book's about. We open up with 4 friends in a small town. We get Greg, the main guy, Sherry, the only girl in the group, and we also get Bird. He's the funny one. They say he looks like a bird, and he'll constantly be doing things that remind the other characters of birds. And then we also get Mike, who is kind of just like the 4th one, who I don't even think he's actually in the climax, so poor Mike. I think they actually cut him out of the episode too. I'm not 100% sure on that. But anyway, these kids are bored in a small town. They don't know what to do, and they say, hey, what if we explored the Kaufman house? The Kaufman house is an old abandoned house, and I like how no one really knows who used to live there when it was occupied. They call it the Kaufman house because of the mailbox out front, but no one really knows who the Kaufmans were. Good bit of lore there, good bit of mystery. And Kaufman is spelled with a C and not a K, so I can't do any trauma jokes, sadly. But they go into the haunted house, which, always fun. There really needs to be more haunted houses for kids to explore, but nowadays they're just too dangerous and we have to tear them down. But they go into the basement, and they find that the basement has had someone living in it. Little makeshift table, makeshift bed, a bunch of empty frozen food boxes, but there doesn't appear to be a microwave down there, so I guess he's been eating them cold, which, well, they probably thawed, I guess, but still. But the guy that they know is living down there is a homeless person by the name of Spidey. Spidey because he's got big, long arms, and everyone, it reminds them of a spider. And they go, okay, we should probably get out of here pretty soon, but of course his friends are still playing around despite the fact that this is not 100% abandoned. And that's when he finds a secret compartment. You turn this lever on a vise, and part of the desk pops open, and there's a camera inside. Greg is a film nerd who always wanted his own camera, so this is exciting, and he takes a photo of one of his friends, and right after the photo, the friend falls down the stairs. But when the picture gets developed, it's of him falling. And that's where they ask, hey, I thought I took the photo before you fell. Was there a lag? What's going on? The photo is of you falling. How did that happen? And it becomes more apparent later when he takes a photo of his family's new car. And the new car is in a wreck in the photo. And he says, that's unquestionable. I can see the car now. It's not wrecked. This is not what I took a photo of. And that's where you get the tension. He's beginning to suspect that it's taking photos of the future. And you'll get scenes where he's like not wanting to go in the car with his family, or the dad's driving too fast and he's like, Dad, you should probably slow down, where I don't want to get in a wreck or anything. And that is a good bit of tension. You know, car wrecks are kind of serious. And this is early Goosebumps, so it is a little bit darker, and you don't know how exactly this is going to play out. There is a photo that he takes of Sherry at his birthday party, and I don't want to spoil what it is, but it's one of those that when you think about it, especially when the photo of Sherry comes true, you're like, ooh, that's kind of dark and really creepy. For the parents watching, I don't want to oversell it. It's not going to, like, traumatize your kid. But it is one of those things that when the birthday party photo comes true, you're like, wow, this has got a bit of weight behind it. And I do like this being just a little bit darker than it would be nowadays. But there's so many questions about the camera. You know, can the photos be avoided? Are they always going to be bad? And if they're always bad, is that the camera doing it? Or is this just how the future was going to be? Can I shoot a photo of someone and cause that to have the bad thing happen to them? Is that how it works? I don't know. And you begin to wonder about it. You begin to wonder where the camera came from, and how do I stop it, you know? So that is pretty good. And I do want to say, I do also like the main guy, Greg, tries to tell an adult about the camera, but of course, lacking context, the guy's just going to go, that's a weird photo, kid. What do you want me to do about it? He's obviously not going to believe it. So you do get to see, again, the tight spot they're in. Overall, though, a really good book. Like I said, it hooked me, and I found myself wanting to read through more. You're always waiting for the snaps, and you're always waiting to see how they'll play out. And I can see why this has got 2 sequels, because if I find Say Cheese and Die Again, I am definitely picking it up and reading it really quick, because it's just a concept I can't help but get more of, you know? Like I said earlier, there is a similar Twilight Zone episode, but I really don't mind, because this is something I could read probably 3 or 4 more books about. It is really fun. As far as any flaws, you know, I don't really want to say too much. I kind of wish this was written from Greg's perspective. It's kept in a third person, yet we're always following around Greg. I kind of feel like it should have been first person. I don't know why it wasn't, but other than that, It's fun, and it's a classic for a reason, and I definitely would recommend it. So hopefully I can find the sequel pretty soon. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Goosebumps playlist. I've talked about a lot of the other early books. Welcome to Dead House, Night of the Living Dummy. I even covered the first special edition, the anthology thing. If you want to see more Goosebumps, you can find them right here. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Goosebumps on the bottom. Have a good day now.